All right, good evening and welcome all of you. I'm doing this late on Saturday night because I wanted to get sooner to you back on this, but I've been thinking how to go about for the last lesson because I've encouraged something to get started here with our group. So as you recalled, um, you know, let me just put the title here first for the message for today, so we'll have that in their mind, get it out of the way. The title for today is called here, we are called to ensure the success of the functioning administration of the economy. I finally figured out the best translation for my book because I was thinking at the beginning of on the Hebrew, the words top the bar, and that's for me not having an understanding of how to use the Hebrew. But I think the best way will be leshon tub. Leshon is for language or tongue, and tub is functional or good. But I was thinking at the beginning last year when I started, and when I did my first introduction to this in September 11. I remember it was the Thursday. We officially started that day, September 11. And but anyhow, but that's the title I was given it then. But a lot of things happen, since then until now, that I think the best title I have for the book now that translates to our modern times and the language of English right now. Because top the bar is functional or good, uh, and the bar tub is good, and the bar is word in Hebrew. All this is in Hebrew. But when you go to the initials of the bar, it's made out with three letters that have a picture to them, the pictorial alphabet. Daleth for the D, Beth for the B, and Resh for the R. Okay, and in Hebrew you only use the consonant, so it's Dalet, Beth, Resh, and it's Dalet is the gate or door. It's the functioning of entering, and gate in the Bible is for government or administration. Okay, and Beth is for house, and Resh is for rules or ruler. So economy in English is eco is a house, nomos is rules. So economic covers the last two letters of the bar, the Beth and the Resh. But I wanted to put the Dalet for the gate, so I put administration, because I was thinking of government, but administration is the best word for that. And functioning is the tub. Okay, so it's the tub, the bar. The bar is covered by three words: administration of the economy. That covers the whole thing for the bar. And functioning is for tub. And the success is the word I added now. We are here. So we are called to ensure, to make sure that the success, to make sure that we are here to establish the success of the functioning administration of the economy. That's the best way to say top the bar. And the way that was used in the New Testament was gospel. Top the bar is gospel. Good news is top, and news is the bar or words. All right. So that was all part of the way that they were trying to introduce it also in the New Testament. That they came here to preach the gospel, the top the bar, the functioning. But I'm putting a whole meaning of everything so you understand what I'm trying to tell you now. So we get into the meaning of everything. The heart of the matter is found in its definitions and its meanings. That's what I wanted to get into, to the heart of it, to the bottom of everything. That's what I'm trying to do with the message. So whenever I'm hearing you talk about the success of the functioning administration of the economy, I'm referring to the sakal, top the bar. Sakal, you know, sakal is Hebrew for success or prosperity. And so we are called to ensure, to make sure that we establish here the success of the functioning administration of the economy. That's a very high way of saying it, but that's a way that is keeping up with the lingo of our time. But now let me get into what I'm trying to say at the beginning. I'm trying to do this to encourage us because I heard it on the radio again today. Um, for a little second I went to to 99 cent store, but when I saw a long line there, I decided not to go. I didn't need it anymore, too much anyhow. But I heard it on the radio that they're saying this phrase, but now they're saying we are alone together. That's even worse than I said the last time, that we are all in this together. They were quoting a song, I suppose. There was a musical or some movie by a guy. I saw it up, and it was a guy named Zac Efron. I think, I'm also Zach. But this guy is Zac Efron. I thought, oh, interesting that they're quoting that. But they're coming up with now, we are alone together. So that's just admitting that you're in a pandemic and misery loves company. So it's not, doesn't put you in a good spirit. It's trying to say you're in a misery state, and so we are, so are we. So let's take comfort in that. We are miserable together. Okay, but the whole idea is, if you are in the economy of your maker, which is the word, the teachings orderly regulating all humanity. Everybody has their teachings. You're living in an economy right now, but apparently this economy has let you down, because here you are, a little 40 nanometer long virus, which is microscopic, has put everything on hold, and everybody has stopped. So obviously, this economy has failed you because it's not prepared to handle it. They don't even know when they're going to come out of it. They're thinking and trying here. Having some arguments right now. Possibly that's very soon, but nothing concrete yet. It's an argument right now with the politicians and all that. So there you are. But you're in a bankrupt economy that cannot protect you even from a 40 nanometer long microscopic little virus. It's got you trembling, and it's got you with the fear of death going. But like I said, that has not affected me because I live in this economy that I've been talking about. My economy is the original one, that was given. I had to run a whole nation because the Torah, the first 5 books of the scriptures, were given to run a whole nation. Understand? So that each person, when you learn the Torah, is for the purpose, of securing that the Torah is kept, because if the Torah makes sure that you memorize it, that you memorize the Torah, you are equipped to take care of a whole nation, because that's what it teaches you. The Torah teaches you how to take care of a whole nation. There are laws for, how to ensure that different squabbles in society are handled. The laws about marriages, the laws about how to get along. There's 613 laws in the Torah, okay? And like I told you before, if you're going to run any economy, it has more than 613 rules. Just the financial rules are more than 613. If you're going to take somebody to court, you need a lawyer because there's too many rules for you to handle it on your own. And just to do all kinds of things, to handle your properties, all kinds of laws for that. So it's more than 613. But it's only 613 in the Torah, and with that, a whole nation can be run. So that's the reason. That's the one I've been trying to follow as much as I can, and try to get as close to it. And not only my health has improved, because there's even rules for diets in there, but my understanding of a lot of things in this world has come into, to the right place. And that's what I'm trying to share with you, And because I've been in it and I don't worry about anything, really, obviously, I don't worry about what jobs I'm going to get, what cars I'm going to drive, what I'm going to wear, all these things. I just concerned for the last 40 years in understanding the connections of the Bible with the creation of this world that was made by the creator of that. And it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful experience. So that's why I call it this way, But what I'm trying to do, because I'm in this, I'm trying to promote my original economy that I happen to be in. And so I've been encouraging that we should get another, instead of saying we are in this together or we are alone together. In that economy, I can tell you that we should be able to say, let's spread the joy together. Because I don't have any fear whatsoever that all the people that are going to stress and everything, because, like I say, it hasn't affected me one bit. My schedule is still the same. My budget that I have for myself, for the upkeeping of myself, still the same. It has not affected my budget. The water, I have a distiller here, so I don't have to worry about water. I get the tap water, I put it in my distiller machine, and that continues to be the case. That hasn't changed. It hasn't affected me. I have water. I don't have to go to the market to buy the water bottle. Nothing like that, because I've been using my distiller for years now, and I'm keeping that routine going. And for some reason, I felt before this was ever announced, about say 6 weeks ago, to buy enough toilet paper. I mean, I don't know. I just felt because I hardly do that. But for some reason I felt that time. Maybe I should buy some, and I bought the ones that had 1,000 in a roll, and I bought a couple of those, and so that's gonna last me because I don't use that much for it anyhow. Because the way I eat one meal a day, you know, and I eat most of the stuff that has fiber in it. So when once you poop like that, there's no more residue, So you only got to wipe out a little bit of wetness. So I don't use that much toilet paper. So that toilet paper that I bought is gonna last me for maybe 3 or more months. So I don't have problems with toilet paper. Okay, so all these things have not affected me. Miss, I tap here from time to time to make sure I'm on. But as I say, so in honor, because I represent this original economy that I happen to, follow and be concentrated on it day and night. That's my hobby, to study it. And now I'm studying it more in the Hebrew, and I'm trying to share, the things that this economy has allowed me to enjoy. So I attribute everything that I am doing right now to following this economy. Because this economy really knows how to take care of you. Keeps your body alkaline because you eat the right foods. And in an alkaline body, no bacteria that is bad for you or no virus can succeed. It dies right away because your body is alkaline and they cannot exist in you. So you are protected in many different ways because you follow the dietary laws. You eat well, you walk, you get some sun, you get all these things, and so this economy keeps you well. And so on behalf of this economy, I'm encouraging that we should spread some joy. And I was suggesting the idea, that we should think of something some other than ourselves, because the best way to remain miserable is just to be thinking of, oh, look at me, I'm a situation, oh, poor me, man, I can't get to do this, I can't get to do that, and you keep on looking at the news, and this thing is not going to end. All of that is going to depress you to no end, okay? So you don't want to be in that. You want to know, or look at those, that are doing something and their mind thinks in a different way, that does not allow them, for them to succumb to this stress or depression that most people are going through. All right, so what I suggest is think in this season that's coming up, because one of the commandments that ensures guarantee of lengthening of days is when we think of honoring fathers and mothers. Okay, so the fifth commandment. So I say, we're gonna look gracious before our Maker. Let's do something for this Mother's Day, and let's think of a mother that might be suffering right now because she's all by herself, especially single mothers. Maybe there's a single mother that focus on somebody, you have a little cash, send her some flowers this Mother's Day, send some chocolates, or send her something, something that will lift her spirits, and tell her, you want to use, in honor of COVID-19-MAN, this group, is doing something to honor our mothers in this Mother's Day, and I'm thought of you, send you a flower to encourage you this day, I hope that everything is going well with you. I have a happy Mother's Day. Stuff like that, But I know it's kind of hard for some of you, to do that because of the situation that we're in right now, But that's something you can do. And if it's sacrificial, a whole lot better. I'm going to tell a little story what happened to me a few years ago when I did this in a sacrificial way. In a means that I did it at a time but I didn't have a budget for it to really, because I needed to get something and I postponed what I needed for myself, and I went ahead and did it anyhow because it was Mother's Day. And so I'll tell you this in a minute, but what I'm saying is think of somebody like that you can make them happy for this season, something that will help you to get out of yourself. I'm sure you might know a single mother there that might need some encouragement during this day, so that won't hurt. But on top of that, I was thinking, right when I told you that was this week, right? So I got paid this Friday, and I already have a budget, and certain amount that I was expecting to get on my paycheck, because I know I'm getting a lot of the immigration calls, which are the ones that pay really good. So I'm not getting any of those. So my budget has gone considerably down a lot. But I was calculating everything according to my new budget that I have with all just the regular pay instead of all the pay with the high profile calls from immigration. And so I was thinking, calculating, because I have a certain things that I bills that needs to be paid, my rent, and certain things. So everything I cover according to my budget. So when I received the check deposited to my account this Friday, that's when I get paid every other Friday, I noticed that there was like $300 above what I had anticipated, for the budgets of the things that I need to cover for me. So then I decided, perfect, because I had said that I wanted to do something, but now I thought I can use that money, extra stuff that I had not, that was not in my budget, but that so happened to come in. It apparently seems like there was some back pay that they owe me for something, and now they decided to pay me. But since my budget is my budget, I live by that anyhow. So that wasn't plan of. I was planning on. So I thought, perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do something for Mother's Day. I'm going to use that money for Mother's Day. In the sense that I'm going to, because I was thinking, what can I do for Mother's Day with $300? Maybe I can do three gifts, of like Amazon cards, the $100 each from Amazon card, because you can buy anything with that from Amazon card. But then I was thinking, you know, that could be done. But then I'm gonna have to go out someplace and get those cards, maybe to the market here in Ralph. I know they sell them there. And sometimes I don't, when you have to go there, you got to make some lines in there, So sometimes I don't have the time to do that from my job to do that. But then I was thinking also maybe get cards from Grubhub too, because I have Grubhub, but sometimes I have order from them. Not all the time, maybe once every 2 weeks I order from them. Uh, but I thought, but maybe they right now are eating. They have food in the house. Most of them are eating, and some of them have even gained weight because that's all they can do is just eat. So maybe they don't want to do that. So the best thing I thought that we can all use right now is some cash. Just $300 cash. Maybe I can give three gifts away of $100 each. So I'll do a drawing. I was thinking I have a little box here, and I'll put the names here. I mean, of the mothers that are in the group. If you're a mother, whether you're a single mother or you're a mother with a husband and everything, as long as you're a mother, you can participate. If you're a member of the COVID-19-MAN group, okay? Every mother that is a member of the 19, I'm going to give away for Mother's Day. I believe this year falls on May 10th, okay? For anybody that is a mother in this group, I encourage you to, underneath this video, just write, if you want to be in this drawing, I'm going to do 3 drawings, $100 each. And the way I'm planning, because I have sent people money, through Zelle, Zelle, because I have Wells Fargo and it allows me to send money through Zelle. So if you happen to have that application, or download it or something, once we do the drawing on May 10, I'm gonna figure out how to do this live. I'm trying to figure out how to do a live. So I'm gonna do a couple of testings here before May 10, just to see the thing, so that you can be part of this. I'm going to do it on May 10 at 12 noon. That's a Sunday for Mother's Day. I'm going to give three giveaways. I'm going to put your name in this box here, and then close the box and check it out, and take one out and then take second out. So give 3 prizes away at $100 each. I'm going to send it to you through Zelle. All right. And just to see that you want to participate and be in on this drawing, to honor Mother's Days on May 10. And on behalf of the COVID-19-MAN group, we're going to do something to honor mothers that way, because I know some people are strapped for cash right now, and I think that's the most useful thing to give away, cash, because you can use it for anything. So that's my plan, to encourage, because if I suggest something, I want to do it by example. That's what I believe. Don't just tell people to do something, but you set the example. Something I always preach my students too. You're gonna say something to somebody, make sure that you're setting the example. So now that this $300 came above my budget, I can use it for this. That's my plan. That's my plan right now, to use it for that. So what you can do is you can just write your name below, this post here, and just say because I want to know if you're in. You want to be in this drawing. So just write your name. Just write I'm in, because when you write that, I want to see your name, and that's all I need. I need to know your name so I can write it on a piece of paper here and put it in the box. All right, that's the way I know, so that when I do that, I will remind you in a couple of more videos. So if you forgot to put your name, you'll put it when I post those videos also. But just write your name. If you're a mother, it doesn't matter you're a single mother or a mother, or a mother that has a husband. It doesn't matter. This is for everybody that is a mother. I'm going to do this drawing on Mother's Day, a $300 giveaway. Total 300, but it's 3 prizes, $100 each, so a total 300. So 3 mothers are going to get $100 each. Send, by yours truly to your Zelle account on your mobile phone. So make sure to start getting that downloaded, because that's the only way I can send the cash. So that's the most easiest way for me to do it too, and I think it's easier for you to get it. So that's a plan, So that's the plan right now. So we're gonna have a good time. That's my way of celebrating Mother's Day, and getting into the bandwagon. And let's spread the joy together. So I'm encouraging you to find a single mother, that you wanna. And I'm focusing on single mothers because they are the ones that are all left by themselves now. And so I want to do something to cheer them up. All right, but what I was trying to tell you earlier is, um, like in 2017, I remember I was in May 10. Yeah, 2000. Because May 10 is Mother's Day in South America and Latin countries, Central America or Mexico, I believe they do it on May 10, 10 de Mayo, Dia de las Madres. So what I do with my kids, especially with the youngest one, and I believe it was 19 in that year, yeah, because on the 18, 2018 he became 20, yeah. So, but prior to he being 21, I would give him because I give my son a certain allowance for doing good in his grades and for not upsetting his mother or having me not hearing any complaints from him from the mother, because I want him, they're staying with the mother, so I make sure that the mother doesn't, don't have a hard time with them. I have two of them, but with the youngest one especially, so I give him like $40 on top of his allowance, and make sure you get a nice gift for Mother's Day for your mom. But I had to set the example, so I had to send something to the mom too, right? So I was thinking that year, man, I needed to get something right away. I didn't have the extra money to send something for the mom, but I had some extra money for buy something that I needed right away. But I said, well, I have to just wait and see what I can. And I said, forget it, so I'm not going to work for that. The thing is, because one of the main things I do believe is in honoring father and mother and setting the example for that for the kids. I know we divorced and everything, since 2007, but officially got divorced then, the divorce papers then. But I have tried to, since then I've tried to keep this going, to make sure my kid knows how to honor father and mother, especially the mother. So I have keeping that tradition going, so he will get into the habit of doing that, because you got to realize that, even if there's differences in the parents sometimes, the honor of your father and mother doesn't change if there's something like that anyhow. So I have been trying to set the example. But that 2017, I didn't quite have it, and so, but I did it anyhow. I went ahead and I ordered some, I believe I ordered some flowers and some chocolates and some nuts. I had them delivered to her place. Now I always do this, by the way. When I do something, I never expect anything in return. Not even from God. It's just like I did this, so bless me with something. I don't even pray like that. Okay. And all the other years I've done it, and I had the budget to do it. So, but something interesting happened. Because to me it's like there's a verse that I like in Psalm 73, 25, I believe. It says, David is saying, "Whom have I in heaven but thee? And there is nothing upon earth that I desire but thee." Okay, that is a verse that talks about being so complete in your Maker that you understand, that there's nothing else that you need but your Maker. Okay, and so you're happy that if you do something because He tells you, for example, He tells me to honor father and mother. The moment that I do it, the way I look at it is that's when God is flowing through me. That's when I'm enjoying His fellowship. The moment I fulfill His commandment and go ahead and do it, that's when He gets to do it. Because to me, He is the one that taught it to me. He is the one that put it in me, and He is the one that animates me to do it. And everything is His. So that's when I'm entering fellowship, and to me, that's the greatest reward. Like David said in that verse, "Whom I have in heaven but thee, and there's nothing on earth that I desire but thee." So it's not a matter that I need to go to heaven to see Him and have a good time with Him, or there's something I need to get from this earth. But just to listen to His word and understand it and to give it and to act upon it, that's a great fellowship to me. And that's, to me, there's nothing greater than that. That's the way I look at it. So that's why I don't do anything, for the intention of getting something in return, which I don't understand why these preachers preach that stuff. That you plant the seed, you're gonna get this and stuff like that. I don't know where that comes from. Isn't it listening to your Maker and understanding what He wants, because then He taught it to you, and then executing what He says? That's when you have the fellowship, because He's the one that's running through you. He's the one that animates my body. He's the one that allows my heart to be beating on a second by second basis. I don't have to remind him. He does it automatically. He's the one running everything. And when he's teaching me something and I do it, that's when I'm enjoying the fellowship of it flowing through me. That's how I look at it. Okay, but something interesting happened that day, which I was not anticipating. That was on the 10th. I sent it. I ordered in the mail, and I ordered, through the phone, and I sent it. But the very next day, on the 11th, you know, I received a call from the company that I work, Language Line. This company has been around for years. This is the first interpretive company that was formed here in the United States. They're from Monterey, California. And I have yet to meet my bosses or anybody. I know them by their voices because I have talked to them or they have trained me and this and that. But I do not know their faces. Since I have been hired, it was all been on through the phone. So all I know is that I got this job through voices. Voices that talk with me on the phone, deposit the money in my account. And so it is the word. That's why I love this job, because it's the word that got it to me. And I don't know my bosses, their faces or anything. I only know that some of them have trained me, and so I know some of their voices. And so it's the word that done all this for me. So, but anyway, and I'm just sidetracking there. But in any case, they call me and they say, we've been meaning to try to get in touch with you, Zach, because we've seen that, in your monthly, because they have a way of checking on you there, and every month they give you a report of how you're doing on your calls. That's quality management that they do. You're fabulous. I think you will be the ideal candidate to work for immigration services for us on behalf of us. And I said, wow, I didn't know you guys had any contracts with immigration services. I had no idea. I said, yeah, we have a lot of government offices that work for us. And, we are the contractors, and then we get subcontractors, and you work for us, and they pay us, and we pay you. And then I said, wow, that's very interesting. I'm happy that you thought of me. But I tell you what, I am not a citizen. I'm only here as a permanent resident. So what do you think about that? Oh, that's no problem. You have a permanent resident card, right? No problem, because you're a subcontractor. You're under us. And we know you're a good worker, and you can do the job, and that's why we want to train you and everything like that. We're going to pay like almost 3 times of what you're making right now. And say, wow. You say, well, thank you, And so that's how it started, that they were going to do that. But it took a while until 2018 and January that it started, but that's when they announced it to me. And then it took a while for that to happen, because then, but they were going to be sending me the stuff, materials for me to be catching up with it and studying it. But interesting that the very next day after I had decided that that it wasn't in my budget to do it, but I did it anyhow, the very next day, they came and offered me this thing. So I think what the maker decided to do was to do something, because to me all this money was going to be above my budget. You understand? I have a certain budget. Pretty much, believe it or not, all I pay, I live in California, 2-bedroom house and a bath, and I only pay $500 for that. That's another blessing right there, because the Lord knows I'm always giving everything. So he got me a deal where I can have an apartment, 2-bedroom apartment with a bathroom, and only pay $500. Only he works those things out, because in California the price of rent, how it is. But the maker knows how to work it out for me. So that's another miracle in itself, how that happened. But in any case, I digress. I'm going back to, so like I said, that's $500 for rent, and then I spend between any $30 or $40 maybe for food in a week at the most, and then no more than maybe $80 or $100 on clothing and hygienic stuff and everything that I need in a month if I need to. So my budget comes out to be about, with the rent and the food, and the stuff that I need, and every clothing, piece of clothing from Goodwill. And on Thursday, which is $1. That's why I don't spend too much money on clothing, but I do look good because they have good stuff that they sell over there. So like I said, so that is my budget. So maybe 800 or 850 at the most. And since I hardly use the car, I do have a car that somebody had me put in my parking space here so I can use it. Like I told you, 3 people have cars in my names, and and they are using it. And this car is in somebody else's name. They gave it to me because they need a space to be parked. So I have a car. I give 3 cars away, and somebody gives me a car for me to drive, even though I don't use it on the weekend. So I don't spend that much money on gas, because the car is a Nissan, it's a 4-cylinder car. So there you have it. So that's the situation. So what I'm saying is, so that happened the very next day. So I think what God liked the way that I use, and spending beyond my means, and so He exploded, so I could give more to other people, which I had done. I've used it when I have all the extra money to just give it here and there to whoever needs it, and many people will attest to that. That's some of the things that I do, because once it's extra, I think it's for somebody else that needs it. It's not for me. I live on my budget and I stick to it. So that's why when everything went away right now, my budget was affected, because my budget is very small, no more than 9,000 or 9,600 maybe a year that I will spend on myself, covering the rent and for my food and my clothing and stuff like that. So everything that I can make over that is for everybody else that needs it to enjoy it. That's been because, like I say, I wanted to be into the bartering system, services in exchange for services. But it's kind of hard to make it work in this society. So when I'm forced to work, I try not to depend on money. Not too much. So that's what has saved me, the fact that, that I have that mindset. And that mindset, I got it from following the Torah. That there's a lot of things in this world that you don't need. There's a lot of things that really are not necessary. And by doing all these fastings, I discover how economical this body is. And so, but that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, that happened. And the very next day that I did that, the fact that happened, I know that God was pleased with me having done that. And He did it just to increase the power of giving, because He knows that I'm already in the giving mode. So I said, well, this guy is just going to be a hilarious giver. I'm going to make it more fun for him to give. So He gave me that. So it's been fun to be giving more to me, because it's the more I enjoy Him flowing, because He knows that I enjoy Him flowing on me. So whenever I give, if I have the reward, my reward is Him flowing on me, because I have to be good to the stranger. So I give to some strangers, sometimes. I got to give good to my neighbor, be honor father and mother, honor elders, all this stuff. So missionaries have been blessed, some of them, all kinds of people, receive some blessings. And I was happy when I found out that I could give some stuff on Facebook. They had a little button to send money. And so that was good, because in the year that followed that year, like in 2017, but what happened also in 2017, even though I was not scheduled to start that until 2018, guess what happened in September? In September of that year, September 19 or September 20, that's when Hurricane Maria, hit, hit island of Puerto Rico, and devastated the whole island. And so what happened is FEMA had their Spanish headquarters in Puerto Rico, so the whole headquarters was damaged. So they had to hire a company at the official translation, And so Hurricane Maria left everything devastated there. So we were busy like crazy. The overtime was out of this world. It was like we were working from 4 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. Okay? And so you understand that was only 8 hours sleep period. And it was Monday through Sunday. Okay, and then the bonuses that were given, they were just crazy bonuses. I think if you work 5 hours of overtime for 5 days in a row, you got a $500 bonus. If you work on the weekends, you got like $200 bonus on top of, for Saturday and then for Sunday. So you can get like $1,000 bonus, on a whole week on top of the salary, and the double. It was like crazy. It's like I had never made so much money in 3 months. Like in 3 months, I made like over $50,000. But I know that that was something, because my ex-wife's name is Maria, and there was a hurricane named Maria that gave me a lot of money that year. So you gotta connect things. You know what I'm saying? So, so I thought, whoa, and so a lot of things, and then, but what I'm saying is that year a lot of money came in, So the total amount of money I made that year was like $75,000 with everything that I had worked prior to that. So it took me by surprise. So a lot of people got blessed because of that, because like I said, everything that went above my budget, a lot of people got it because I did not needed it. And the year after that, the 18, that kept going. Those calls kept going because that took a long time for the Puerto Rico to heal. So that there was those calls, but also I was getting the immigration calls, and those calls play they pay pretty good. And so I was busy with that. So that year it was went like 90,000 for that 2018, and so it has been something to me like So God exploded the gift of giving because all that did for me was just to be a giver. So in 2018 and 2019, I was giving money through this little thing in Facebook that has a little button to give money and send it to people. Because if I would hear somebody had a complaint about this, or maybe somebody had died, or they needed something, I would just send them a little money here and there. But I think Facebook did not like me doing that. I don't know what they're thinking because maybe I was giving too much money using that method. They just cut me off from that. They said that I could not use that method of sending money anymore. And but I think also because at the time I always post a lot of political stuff in my timeline, and mostly on the Republican side of things. Not that I am a Republican because I cannot vote. Like I told you, I'm a permanent resident. But I tend towards because I don't agree with abortion, and the Republicans both agree with abortion. So on things that can come close to the Bible, I think that Republicans are more closer to that. So that's why I tend to go towards the side in the post that I put it. But that's not that I'm a Republican, nor have I voted Republican because I cannot vote, like I said. So I think because of the post that I think they took it against me or something. But in any case, I'm banned from use that thing. I cannot use that anymore. So for the people that have asked me for money from time to time, I know I have sent them money through Zelle. That's to me the best way to do it right now. So that's why I thought of, encourage you ladies, especially if you're a mother, and what kind of mother? As long as you have a child, you're a mother, single mother or any mother is welcome to participate in that. As long as you're a member of the COVID-19-MAN group, we're going to honor mothers, this year in the COVID-19-MAN group by giving 3 mothers $100 to, the ones that are drawn from the box. Take the name out, and that's going to happen on May, like I say, it's going to be on May 10, which is going to be Mother's Day this year. I'm going to see if I can broadcast this live, so we can do it. And we'll see what I can think. But I can say you can write your name down below this post once I have posted it. You're saying, if you're a mother, because I don't really know who is a mother in my group, but if you're a mother, you say, and you want to be in this drawing, you say, I'm in. Just write that. I am in. I am in. I'm in. So I can take your name and write it down and put it in the box, okay? I'm going to take your name, write it down and put it in the box. I'll collect it here. I have it. We're going to do the drawing. We'll take 3 names out of it. Just check it and 3 names out of there on May 10th. That way we'll have a little fun with this and we'll spread the joy together. Because remember, this is a group, so I'm doing it on behalf of the whole group. I'm one kind of the guy that have never asked for any donations of any kind. I don't believe in that. I don't like that one bit. Because I think all this religious organization, that have done all of that have abused this too much. And it has brought a bad name, to the name of my maker. So that's why I don't do that. Everything that I have ever done, I have done it with my own money. Or the money that the Lord has sent me. Money that I have earned, money that I have worked for, but it's all been like that. And I'm going to continue to do it that way. So don't worry about anything else. If you can do something for yourself, because we are a little scratch, you don't have to donate to me. The way you can do this, you find somebody or yourself, that because I know there's a lot of single mothers that can really use some encouragement right now. You try to find somebody like that yourself, and you can say on behalf of the COVID-19 group, if you feel too ashamed to say that you're doing it for yourself, whatever, but just do something like that will honor. And I know that will please the maker, but gets into that. If you're the kind of a person that is thinking of being a giver, to encourage somebody, that will make his heart very glad and happy. So the Lord is happy with things like this, It's called charity by some other people, but, it's just the way to be in this world. God gives you above your means, spread the joy. I'm a strong believer of that. You know, like for example, I'll give you another story. I mean, my budget's kind of low right now. You know, so one of the ladies that used to clean the house, but now is helping take care of my father because my father lives in Culver City, and my sister stays there with him, and uh, so she goes and helps to cook, and she knows how to cook well. So just based upon the diet that he follows, my father has diabetes, but he's able to control the intake of insulin and all of that stuff because this lady cooks the right things for him and does a good job for him. So she's the one that her car got smashed and got total declared total disaster, a total loss they call it. And so she wanted to buy my car, so I told her she could just take it and use it because you know, I don't drive it anyhow because I work on my house. And so she's been using it all this time. And because I appreciative of what she's doing, I pay her insurance. I mean, because she wanted to pay the insurance, but said no, I'm just gonna cover for that too. In appreciation of the fact that you helping to cook for my father. My sister pays her for that, but so because I appreciative of that, I told her I'll be taking care of the insurance thing, and so I've been paying insurance, but now things have gone down considerably. So I cannot really afford the insurance. So I had to call her this week, and I told her, look, the insurance is covered until May 17, and I won't be able to afford it any longer now. So maybe you're gonna have to see if you can take over that. But I told her the registration to register the car came, but this time is saying that I need to take it to a smog testing. You have to pay for the smog. And I told him my budget right now, I can't really afford the smog test. I told her, but that's all he needs. But I'll cover the registration this time because I really appreciate all you're doing for my dad. So she go, oh, thank you. She's very appreciative. I said, well, don't mention it. I appreciate what you're doing for my dad, so that's what I'm gonna do. But you need to find out, see how you can do for about, to cover the smoke test. But she went the same day. I was on Thursday, I think, that I talked to her, and so she went the same day and she got it done. She got it and she passed and everything. And she said, I'll come by on Saturday to give you the paper because I need the paper so I can register online. And so sure enough, so she came today and she brought me the paper that she passed the test. And then one thing that I was needing this week because I had gone this week to 99-cent store and I was in line there and I didn't have really a proper mask, to wear on my face. I had to use one of these beanies and cut it in half and use this, like half of it to go around so I can have some sort of mask. So I was thinking, man, I don't know where to go get a mask and everything like that. But when she came today, guess what? She brought me one of the good masks. Look at this. This is like the one people are using, right? And she brought me like 5 of those, like a whole little set of here. She said, I thought that you might need this, and she brought it to me, and I was thinking, man, I'm gonna go. So hey, this is very expensive these days. It's hard to get. So the Lord, I just thought about it, and that day that I used that, and He put in somebody's heart to bring me some of these, So she thought about that, and she brought it to me. So what I'm saying is like, what I'm trying to share with you is like, you don't worry about things. You just worry about spreading the joy, and the things that are needed for you will be provided. As simple as that. And so that's what I am promoting my economy. Because my economy is to just worry about everything that makes my maker happy. And then he provides for everything that I ever gonna need. Even keeping my health with a strong immune system because I'm eating the right things. I've been eating for a while. So that's my encouragement to you, and that's what I'm trying to tell you, And so let me see if I can. So go ahead, I encourage you if you know somebody, to do this, for somebody to encourage them that you might know a single mother that might need some encouragement during this season, and this will be great if we just get together to, let's spread the joy together. Let's do that instead of what everybody's telling you, we are alone together, just that's a situation of admitting defeat already, that we're in a pandemic. But we can share each other, we have 1-800 flowers that I use. I even, sign up for a whole year of shipping so I get free shipping and I'm going to use it because I know some mothers that I'm going to try, they're in my budget that I'm going to send some encouragement also. That's my own thing. Yeah. But I'm gonna do this whole thing as a group. The 300, $100 giveaway of three, a total of 300 being given on May 10th. So keep that in mind. And if you're a mother, just write down below the post, I'm in, so I can see your name. And if your name is like a nickname or some weird name, then put below what your real name is. So when you win, I'm gonna need to get in touch with you so I can get your number so I can send it to you through Zelle or something, or your email to send it through Zelle. Okay. So write the name that you use correctly to get money, to receive money there, if it's not the correct name already. Because if you put I'm in already, if it's your correct name, it'll show who you are. That's why I need to write your name and put it in the box. Okay. We're gonna do this, and I'm gonna give you a couple of more reminders because it's a few more weeks before May 10. So I'm gonna be building this up, and this is for all the mothers that are part of the COVID-19-MAN group. I'm gonna be honoring, on behalf of this group, I'm gonna be honoring mothers, and we're gonna do that. All right. So now, as for what I'm talking today, I'm talking about, let me see here. Oh yeah, the COVID-19-MAN. We are called to ensure the success of the functioning administration of the economy. Now, I'm saying this, and for that, I'm going to explain what I mean about the word. Let me put it here. All right. The word success, okay. Now, the word success comes from the following letters, and I put it here, Shin, and then Kaf and Lamet, okay? Shin is the picture of teeth here in the pictorial. This is how you write it in the Hebrew modern alphabet. But this is the pictorial paleographic alphabet, and it's the picture of teeth, the two front teeth, and the function of it is to press or to hold something or to separate, to cut something in half, because you use your teeth to either grab something, and not let go, to fasten onto it, or to destroy, because you consume it, you break it in half, you separate it. So it has a couple of functions. The teeth can hold fast to something. And the calf is the palm. It's a picture of the palm. And the palm is, you use it to anoint somebody or approve of somebody, or to allow to something to approve or to tame. Put your blessings to somebody when you pray, or people put your palms on them. So it's something has to do with something, you put your palm to approve of it, okay? And then the lamet is the shepherd's staff. This is like up and down, but think of it, that's in the Hebrew like this, and this is in the pictorial. It's the shepherd's staff. And the staff is to guide, the sheep. It's to guide them as to where to go. So it's instructions that tell you where to go. The teachings, okay, to go here and there. So when you put it together, and remember the Hebrew reading is read from here to here, from right to left. So start with Shin, Kaf, Lamed. It means to tightly hold on to, or to press or hold on to the approved, that's the calf, instructions. So it's to hold tight onto the approved instructions. So what's the best word that now all companies use to make sure that you hold tight and follow the approved instructions? Okay? That's the word adherence. I hear it in my job all the time. You need to adhere to the schedule. You need to adhere to the rules. They want adherence, because as long as they have a manual for you, they have everything prepared for you, and you come and you adhere to the rules, adhere to the schedule, that secures that the products and services are going to be delivered. Okay? The manual tells the instructions. You follow the instructions. You adhere to the instructions. You adhere to the schedule. And the company is able to produce what they're supposed to produce. So the act of adhering is what they call success. You understand? So let me put it here together. According to the Creator's definition, success is consuming or attaching yourself to the approved instructions that make you productive. You see, because that's what adherence does. You attach yourself to the approved instructions that makes you productive. And that's the whole thing. Shin, Kaf, Lamed. Is attach yourself to the approved instructions. Attaching approved instructions. You see? And so that secures, that ensures that the product and service is going to be delivered. So in all companies, success is the first thing that you do. By adhering, that ensures that the products are delivered. So to them, the riches is what is in the manual, what is the instructions of telling you. And then once you adhere to that, those riches are produced in the physical world and they are manifested. So then the public receives it, okay? So the riches to them is the manual, the little baby, the idea that they came up with that make them rich, right? Because that's what they come up with an idea. This baby is gonna make me rich, man. That's what they call it, yeah. So that's the treasure, And so once they hire people to adhere to that treasure, that's gonna make them rich because that's really the riches. And so the workers get to produce the product and service, and the public gets to receive those riches. So you're there like a philanthropist, if you please. You attach yourself to the riches that the owner of the company has, which is the baby that made him rich, his idea that came up with, and then you are able to act according to those instructions, and the will of the Creator flows through you, and you are an extension of that will, and is manifested in the public market where people receive the product or service that you're delivering according to the instructions. So that's the definition of success in the scriptures. Like it is found here in Joshua 1:8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So that's what the word I took it from. Success here is sakal. It's prosperity or success is the same. So what he wanted to do is, not to depart. So this book of the law shall not depart. You're going to be meditating, thinking day and night. So what are you doing? Adherence. When you're doing that, you're doing the work of adherence. That's when you have good adherence, they say. So if you do this, you are having good adherence. That's what good success is. It's adherence to the instructions, that the Creator knows guarantees is going to be, the world is going to be blessed with those riches or those ideas he came up with. So that is success. Now, but this world gives you another definition of success for you as human beings. We know that success is a product that works, and it does the most for you by needing the least. So, if a car runs the most miles by using the least amount of gas, that car is deemed a success, because it gives you so much for so little. So everything in the world that gives you a lot of service, needing very little of attention, that's a successful product. We applaud for it. We're happy with that company because they've done something, that gives you a lot for very little attention for yourself. Okay, so that's really what success is. Okay, and so when we go into the world, and the world tells, in order for you to have success, you got to show that you have piled a lot of products, or you can have access to piling a lot of products and services that other people have made. And then when you show us that you can gather and have a bunch of products for yourself, and you can show us that you pile all this stuff, then we're going to say that you're successful. When you can pile a lot of money, we're going to say that you're successful. When you can pile a lot of cars, pile a lot of houses, you just make a pile of a lot of things, then we're going to give you the title of success. So that's not the meaning of success at all. That will be the meaning of the greatest failure, And also people think you are successful if you can get the most by doing the least. See, if you were to be a product like that, that it will have you do, let's say a car will only go 2 miles per gallon. You will say that car is a total failure because it needs, when there are other cars that can give you 30 or 50 miles per gallon, this car comes along, I want you to put more gallons than the amount of, the miles that it can give you, then you say that it's a failure. So any product that will need a lot for itself in order to give you very little product and service, you're going to discard. You're going to call it a total failure. But that's what we want for ourselves. We want to get the most out of this world by doing the least. And that's the concept of being a total failure. It's not being a total success. Okay? The whole idea is to be able to do the most for your fellow man by needing the least for yourself. If you happen to be into that condition, then guess what? The Word of God is enabling this economy that I follow is enabling to do that. And if you're that kind of a person, there's a lot of things that you're doing so good already that the Maker takes care of you so well. Because I can't complain the way that He's been taking care of me. It's far beyond what I ever expected. I never asked God to give me a job with a lot of money. I never asked for. I had never even asked for jobs. The jobs have been. Somebody thought that I would be able to do this job, like this job that I'm doing as a translator. I never looked for it. I was just throwing papers, because I had to work and I couldn't find a job. So I just went and started throwing papers in the paper route. And right away, they liked me. And in a month of working there, they made me the supervisor of the warehouse. And I wasn't even looking for that, But God showed favor in the eyes of my bosses, because the lady boss found out that my father is from Belize. And she was like, her father and she was from Belize. And because of that, she made me the supervisor in there. So God has a way of promoting me right away without me looking for promotions. I just went to work. And so I was working there. I was working a lot of hours there, Monday through Sunday, because the paper routes, they don't rest a day. When you become supervisor, I had to be even there early because I had to open the warehouse and everything. The place where they deliver the papers. And so while I was doing that, that's when this situation happened that I cannot tell you the whole story. It's going to take too much time. But in any case, somebody thought about me that I could be able, to do the job of translation, because somebody else was doing this work, and they thought about me that I could do it because I used to be a translator. And so they hooked me up with this job. I called and they did the test over the phone. I passed with flying colors, and they hired me. They trained me and everything. And I've been working ever since then here. But I did not look for this job. So you understand? So I have not lived my life this way, looking for jobs or looking for promotions. I do whatever is in front of me to do, But I'm always working though, because the only time that I did not work for a couple of months, that's when I wasn't working. But the Bible says, he that does not work should not eat. I have learned that from Christianity. So I just fasted those months because, I was really fasting on pomegranates were the only fruit that was given. And I had a pomegranate tree in the back of the house, so I would eat one pomegranate a day and water. And that was my meal for almost a month and a half. And then as soon as I stopped the fast, I got a job. I was still doing the paper route, because I said, I cannot find anything else. I want to start doing that. And I started doing that. And that's how things happen, But the thing is, so that's the way I've conducted my life. So you see, so everything has been provided, But what I'm trying to say here, sakal is that. So that is the definition of success. You adhere to that, So, because to me, it's like in the first economy, like I told you, in the first economy, God had made the plans. Not the man-made plans and manufacturing plans that we have now, but He made plans that do not need, that do not need me to work for them, to make the apple, or to make the papaya, or to make the mango. They do it all themselves, all by themselves. And then they just hang it outside there for you to just go grab it and enjoy it. Everything is done. Everything is baked by the sun. When it's ripe, they're all baked and ripe by the sun. They're ready for you to eat. When something is ripe, that means they're baked and cooked by the sun. That's why they're raw, but they're ready for you to eat. And so when you follow that kind of diet and stuff like that, everything gets better and everything is provided. So the only thing that you were called to do in this garden of life, and let's impart fruitfulness everywhere, LIFEE, let's impart fruitfulness everywhere in this garden. When the commandment was for the FMR, remember, the celebration of completeness, fruitfulness, multiply, and replenish. Okay, all of us could do it, and so the only thing, He was going to reveal who He is, and we were going to reveal His personality, and so He was going to tell us that the only reason for using words is so you will know my mindset, the way that I think, the way that I feel, and the way that I choose. So that when you get to execute that, it was going to be me having fellowship with you and flowing out of you. We're going to be doing this together. And you and me, we're going to be together. Like Israel means leader with God, okay? You having dominion over the world means leader with God, Israel. We're going to be together. We're going to be Israel, prince with God, okay? That's why Israel has got to exist, because the goal for God created mankind to have fellowship with Him. And so you understand. So the riches for us was God and His Word, because that's the the riches really of everything. Okay, a person has to have a manual that gives that's the instructions for the product or service, and that's what causes abundance. So the value is found in the instructions. Okay, those were the riches, and as we adhere ourselves to the word that He was telling and the order in which He was giving it to us, He was going to be flowing out of us. Okay, so it was the job of being like like the best thing that people want to be in this world. I mean, to be a movie star that everybody admires their talent for playing a character that they can play. And usually they only play dead characters or fictitious characters that somebody made up. Okay, a dead character because maybe somebody in the past did something great for society and their life is portrayed on the big screen and you get to play the role of that person. So usually a dead character or a fictitious character. But with God is a living character that is still alive in control of everything right now. And so you get to portray Him, His mindset, the way of thinking, the way of feeling, the way of choosing. And for that is your riches. And when you portray Him, you are giving these riches to the world. And everything that you do, you're showing Him off. Everything you do is to show Him off. So it's like you're a philanthropist because He is your riches. He is the treasure of your life. And He gets to be in you, and you get to see Him coming out of you to do everything that He wants to do from, you're only His desktop station that He's using, and then you can see Him everything that He's doing through you. So you get to be still and know that He is the giver of design, God, giver of devices. You get to see Him as a giver coming out of you. What a way to live. That's why I call this whole creation the 3D, already holograph 3D that He created first for us to enjoy Him. And I'm just a soul that's sitting inside watching Him doing everything. And what a way, that's a way to live that is no stress whatsoever. Nothing is going to, cause you any way in which you can just, suffer because of that. Imagine somebody is the greatest guy, like people that have money like Warren Buffett, or Bill Gates, even though that guy, with this vaccine condition is not being liked too much right now, because that's the only solution. He wants to please the pharma, so he can continue to, because that's the way he donates to his foundations, and that way he has to pay taxes when you have a foundation. So everything just to protect their money. But in any case, let's just say Warren Buffett invites you. Okay, all I want you to do is sit in there and watch me handle all my business affairs. As I go here and there, your job is to sit there and watch it and enjoy what I do. Okay? Are you going to be stressed out of your mind if you have that kind of a job? And he says, everything's going to be provided for you. You need to drive a car, take my car. You need to get this, take it. Take it. Everything is provided for you. What kind of a stress life are you going to have? Just watch me do my job the way I like to do it. That's exactly what happens to your maker. Once you get into the Word, you realize that anything you get to do is just you're enjoying Him, watching Him do it. Because He is the one that gave you the instruction. You received it in the heart that He made Himself. Your thoughts and the material to think is His material. You understand? Every second has a pattern of Him. He's the patent owner of every second. He's the patent owner of every molecule and atom. So what do you have? You only get to be a witness of this great phenomena taking place. And you're enjoying it on a second-by-second basis. See, you find that reality of the mindset, I'm not making it up. That's really how things are. He owns every second. He owns every molecule. So, what have I to do but to witness this majestic splendor, moving His 3D creation that He made, and enjoying Him every moment and every second of the day. Imagine if you're aware that that's the existence of what we're called to be. That's why David said it. He understood that. In Psalm 73:75 says, whom have I in heaven but Thee? And there's nothing upon earth that I desire but Thee. His creator and His understanding was everything. Okay? And now, I tell you all these things because I need to get to this. When you receive the economy, okay, let me put this thing on the front now so we understand this. What it says in the title here, yeah. All right. We are called to ensure the success of the functioning administration of the economy, because administration of the economy means the bar. When God gave us a word, He gave us a word to run an economy, as we know it nowadays. Okay, there's a guy that I'm going to show you a little video to end here. You know, he's called the economic hitman. So you're aware these people have been being used by the CIA and by our government for over 40 years. And these are people that go into different nations and buy the presidents. They corrupt them. They bribe them. They give them money in exchange for whatever they want to establish in that country. And they're being successful in doing it. And he's one of those. So he's a confession. He confessed that he wrote a book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. His name is John Perkins, I believe that's his name. So I thought that was very interesting, you know. But now, guess what? He's giving advice to all of us on how we can run a more feasible, more economy. But of course, it's not based in scripture. And what he believes is, he believes in shamanism. People that are witch doctors in the Amazon or witch doctors in Nicaragua, you know, in different places in the world. He believes in their advice. But in any case, he provides solutions now. So a person that will go corrupt presidents, now he's offering solutions. But they're not based on the original economy, you know. So the thing is, you need to hear somebody that have tried this economy, so it's been tried and tested. I tried and tested in my life, and everything, I can tell you from my own life that everything has been taken care of because I live in this economy. So I'm on top, above all the economies of the world. So though I've just started this in the Hebrew like 4 or 5 years ago, like I'm in kindergarten of the Hebrew. So this kindergarten guy of the Hebrew that is only a servant of my economy, I am a king in all the other economies. All the other economies have failed the world right now, but this one has not failed me, and I'm able to live above this one, so this one does not affect me in any way possible, in depressing me or doing anything to my whole persona. It doesn't do anything for me in that area that which is everybody's affected because I'm staying in this economy. Okay? So, but what I'm trying to get at is that when God gave the Torah, if you learn the Torah, you learn how to run a whole nation, by the way. Okay? And one thing that I was thinking is because in the Bible, the Torah does not teach such thing as a personal salvation. Okay? The way the Torah was given, it was after God himself came and took out a whole nation out of Egypt. Okay, he took out a whole nation. He took him through the 10 plagues so that he will destroy. Each plague was to show that each one of the gods that they believe in, that Egypt believed in, could not do anything to protect them. So that way, he sent 10 plagues to go against the 10 gods that they trusted, that was able to deliver them from each one of those 10 plagues, and each one of them completely failed. So it's interesting that God judged Egypt with a deber. Okay, the bear is another word in Hebrew for plague. Has the same letters as the economy. So he used 10 plagues, 10 the bears. You know, the bar is for word, the bear is for plague. And he judged Egypt. The economy of Egypt got judged with 10 the bears. We have only received one here in America this time here, but man, it's crippling the whole world with one main plague, you know, one main the bear. But they received 10 the bears, 10 plagues to disannul their gods and their statues that they trusted. Remember that they have, even the lamb was a god for them. And the lamb was a god for creation. Being the creator of mankind was a lamb. That's one of the gods that they had. So in the end, they used the lamb to destroy, to say that they could sacrifice their god because you're not supposed to kill the god. The god is like Indians believing in a cow. They don't kill the cows, right? Because it's a god. So that was a deity that they slashed, you know, and they sacrificed, showing that the God that they believe in, they did not have to fear, you know, this God of the creator of mankind, because, you know, they could even kill it and nothing could happen to them. That's complete defying of the God of the creator of mankind. That they could kill it and they were not going to die, because the real creator of mankind was the one behind them, telling them what to do. And so that's 10 plagues that were used, and so the whole nation was taken out. And so when the word Yeshua is introduced in the Torah for the first time, the word Yeshua, which means salvation, you know, Yeshua, salvation, It was introduced when they were, in front of the Red Sea, and the armies were coming behind for the Egypt to get them, and Moses, raised up the rod and said, "Behold, be still and behold the salvation." That's when the waters opened up. And that's when he said the words Yeshua. That's when it appeared for the first time. In that moment in which the waters opened up and they were able to go to dry land. But guess who? So Yeshua, the name Yeshua, salvation, was used to save the whole nation. The first time they appeared, a whole nation went through. Okay? And they believe that 3 million or so, because not all of them came out. Not all of them, believed that they were going to come out. So most of them died. Most of them stayed in Egypt. But about 3 million of them, according to what the rabbi said, about 3 million went through. So that was a whole nation, that was saved. And God proved that he could save the whole nation before they even knew the Torah. Okay? So that was a way for him to prove, okay, I annul, or I, show that the gods of Egypt have no power over the plagues that I send them, because the plagues that I sent them was the protection that they were trusting those idols or those things to protect them against those plagues, and none of them could do anything. So that shows you that I have the power and not those idols. So that takes the power back to himself. And now I'm going to take you right here to the hardest situation, and I'm going to take care of you in the desert to understand that you don't need anything if you're in my economy. I provide for everything. If you just want to be in my character and learn my character, I will provide for everything for you. So he once again, in a desert place, he provided. There was a cloud to protect him and everything, but he was showing that. So when he gave him the Torah, he already has showed them that he could save the whole nation. So, okay? So that's what you need to understand. So the reason, that's one thing I'm saying here. I'm going to read it to you here what I wrote about this, because this is something that whenever anybody has a Torah, because I told you that's the first teachings orderly regulating all humanity. Whenever anybody has teachings orderly regulating all humanity, or all humans, to hire them to do the products and services, the reason why they do it, let me write it here. Okay. All right. Okay, here. Okay, here I wrote, the Torah is not about your personal salvation. Okay? Nor is any teachings that they hire you for any company. Anybody that hires you with a manual to give you teachings orally regulating all humans that are hired to do a certain service or product is not for your own personal benefit. You will get your personal benefit, but the main purpose is for you to learn the rules so that you can take care of the manual, of the order of the manual, because that order of the manual is going to allow you to produce the product or service. So you do it, first of all, everything is a wordocracy. You do it for the sake of the economy, for the sake of the word, for the sake of the davar, to be kept intact and coherent. And then, so you adhere yourself to it. So the reason why you adhere to the word of the manual, even from the beginning of the original economy up until now, they all do it, is because that is the success that is going to produce the product and service. So it's for the sake of taking care of the word itself. And then what happens is, okay, so let me read it whole. The Torah is not about your personal salvation. It's about saving all that the Torah, okay, it's about saving all that the Torah has done for you. About saving all that the Torah, but it's for saving all the Torah, and for you to be equipped to take care of a whole economy, a whole nation. Because that's what you do. When you learn the Torah, is to take care of the whole nation. Okay, because when the word Yeshua was introduced for the first time, I told you it was to take care of a whole nation. The God that takes care of a whole nation, he proved himself that he could do it by taking them out and taking them out through the hardest situation, that he could take them out and rule over them. And anybody that had a lesser economy, like the Egyptians or anybody else in the world, could not do anything to prevail against them. Okay? So that's the whole thing. So you keep the word so you can be equipped to take care of a whole nation, of a whole economy. Because that's what you give when you get the word. You get a wholesome word that takes care of a whole nation, of a whole economy. See, it says, and that's a whole nation, uh, care of a whole economy or a whole nation. And that is why he gave it. See, that's why he gave the Torah. And he gave it when? After showing that he could save a whole nation. You know, 3 millions that were in the wilderness. And therefore, he could be trusted to give you the instructions that would enable you that that same economy that saved the whole nation will flow out of you. Okay? So that's the whole idea. So he showed you first, before you knew. He showed you, okay, I can save you, all of you guys. I took you all of all the plagues. I delivered you. Okay? Now, guess what? I'm going to put that word. I'm going to be in you. So you're going to be the insurance for all nations, you know, that nothing will happen to them because this economy is going to be in you. So you are able to secure and run a whole nation because I'm going to put it in you. All right? And so this to me is, I wrote here, let me write it down. Let me read it for you because I wrote it down on the, meditating on this. See, this is like the tree forms the fruit that has the seed, and that seed tells the ground to raise the tree. You understand? So God was like the tree of life for them there, right? Before they knew everything, He was supplying them the life. He was feeding them and taking care of them through the whole plague, so they had nothing wrong was happening to them, and so He was like a tree of life for them. Okay, but then He was going to make them the fruit. Okay, because they're going to inherit the Torah, and He was going to put the Torah inside of them. That's the seed, you know, and that seed was planted in the next generation, which is the ground that receives it, and then that tree, the father, the character of the strong tower, the father is manifest, and it comes out of them. You understand? So this continues; it goes on and on and on, generation after generation. By the way, this is the understanding of what it says in the book of Malachi. You know, that the last messenger that will come will turn the fathers, the heart of the father to the children, and the heart of the children to the father. That's the whole idea here of the tree, you know, putting in the fruit the seed, and then that seed putting in the ground the orders for the tree to come out again. Okay? So this is, because what that means is like, putting in the heart means for the father to put the definition and the meaning of himself in the heart of the son, because to have the definition and the meanings of something is to have the heart of something, to get to the bottom of everything. And then the son, you know, using that definition and meaning of the father to bring forth the father, you know, to bring forth the heart of the father. So one is a continual thing of the other. So it's not like something is given to us so that we can give our admiration and everything and respect to something that did not create us. Like right now in these economies of the world, you know, your parents are not the one that are honored. Somebody else that takes your attention, like the stars are honored, the basketball stars are honored, the movie stars are honored, or rich people that are philanthropists are honored, not the father and mother, you know. But once you understand this, you understand that your origin and your source of your understanding for this economy is the strong tower, Abba, you know, the Father, you know, and therefore you want to take all of that into yourself because that's what you're going to transfer to others, and they become parents to their society, and they operate in this fullness, you know, and so it goes on, and it's not deviated and dispelled into something else. All right, so this is the beauty of all of this. So you understand that this is the reason why it's so important to read the Torah and to learn it in all of its fullness, because it's the first original economy, and it puts you above everything. And really, if you just want to know the character, want to see Him flowing out of you, man, you don't have to worry about what to eat, what to drink, really, or you know, what job am I going to get, or what am I going to wear? You know, should I go buy a mask? Like I said, you know, don't worry about it. The lady I put it in the lady's heart to bring it to me. I did not tell her to bring me anything. She was just going to bring me the paper that she passed the smoke test, and she was like, "No, I thought that you might be able to use this. I'm buying for you." Oh, thank you. You know, I thought, hey, this is very pricey right now, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. You know, thank the maker that he puts it in people's heart to give you the exact thing that you need. You know, even if you don't need it, like they offer me the car, I need it for somebody, so I can use the car whenever I need it now. You know, but all of these things, you know. Um, um, I'm gonna tell you, you know, that's the way to go. So, you know, I'm gonna see if I can play this thing for you. Maybe it's getting a little bit too long, you know, but it's only 18 minutes, so I'll see if you can stick by it and learn something about this guy, right? This guy, the John Perkins, you know. Let me see, I have him here already. Yes, I have him here already. All right, let me get smaller on this. All right, a little bit here. I go up a little bit. All right, so let's see what this guy has to say.
Please welcome to the stage, John Perkins.
Thank you. I stood in front of the Shah of Iran, the presidents of Indonesia, Ecuador, Panama, members of the Royal House of Saudi Arabia, and I've said something like, in this hand, I have millions of dollars for you and your friends if you play our game. In this hand, I have a gun in case you decide not to. Now, my words were more diplomatic than that, but that was the message. I was an economic hitman. And we economic hitmen have created a new global economy, really, a form of capitalism that I call predatory capitalism. It isn't working. We all know this. The oceans are rising. The glaciers are melting. Less than 5% of us live here in the United States, and we consume almost 30% of the world's resources, while half the world is on the verge of starvation, or actually starving. That's not a model. China can't do it. India can't do it. They're trying, but they can't do it. We have to change. We have to have a revolution. We must change the system. I'll get into that in a minute, but first, how did I become an economic hitman? While I was still in business school, I was interviewed by the National Security Agency, the NSA. They put me through a series of extensive psychological tests, including on a lie detector. It's a long story, but to make a long story short, I ended up going in the Peace Corps and being sent deep into the Amazon rainforest. Now, I'd grown up the son of a teacher in a boys' prep school for very wealthy boys in rural New Hampshire. I grew up with lots of snow and cold, kind of like here in the winter, you know? And suddenly I find myself living in a thatched roof hut in the steamy jungle. You think I adjusted easily to that? After the Peace Corps, I then took a job. I was given a job as an economist at an international consulting firm in Boston with close ties to the NSA and the CIA. I was trained by a woman named Claudine Martin, whose job it was to train me to be an economic hitman. Now, Claudine had seen my NSA files. She knew that I wanted three things that I thought all my prep school buddies, the rich kids, had had: money, power, and sex. Claudine was really good at her job. And she promised me the first two: money and power. And she taught me quite a bit about the third. And then she told me what my job would entail. I would go to countries with resources our corporations covet, like oil. I'd arrange a huge loan to those countries from the World Bank or its sister organizations, but the money wouldn't actually go to the country. It would go to our corporations, Bechtel, Halliburton, Brown and Root, familiar names, to build big infrastructure projects in those countries and incidentally make huge profits in the process. They'd build power plants and industrial parks, things that would benefit a few wealthy families in the country, the ones that own the industries. But the majority of the people would suffer. They would be left holding a huge debt they couldn't repay. So we'd go back and say, since you can't pay your debt, sell your resource, oil or whatever, real cheap to our corporations. Privatize. Sell your utilities, your schools, your jails, everything like that to our corporations. And Claudine also told me that if the leaders of these countries refused my offer, people she called jackals would be right behind me. I didn't actually carry a gun, but the jackals did. My first assignment was in Indonesia, a country that had just ended a terrible civil war where more than 1 million people had been killed. It had a terrifying reputation. And I have to admit that when I arrived in Jakarta, knowing I'd be there for about 3 years, my knees were shaking pretty bad. My stomach was filled with fluttering butterflies. I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I was a very young man. I just knew that I was expected to produce a report that would convince the Indonesian government to build an extremely expensive electrical system, hiring our corporations to do it. Claudine had made it sound simple, even kind of James Bondishly romantic. But now I'm struck by reality, and I felt naive, ill-prepared, vulnerable. Fortunately for me, the winner of the Civil War, President Suharto, who was actually a dictator, wanted the projects that I was offering, and he also wanted CIA and Pentagon protection. And so every time I stumbled, and I stumbled often, somebody was there to pick me up. A government official would appear with an incredible report that would indicate beyond any shadow of a doubt that electricity was all the country needed to take off to huge growth. A Harvard-trained mathematician showed up with a mathematical formula that proved that if they just built this electrical system, everything would be fine. In the end, I produced a report that forecasts the need for electricity at an unheard of annual rate of 19%. Indonesia got its loan. Our corporations made lots of money, and I was promoted from economist to chief economist. It was quite a lesson. At that time, the Cold War was just really, really revving up. And Washington believed that Cuba was about to spread communism throughout the hemisphere. The CIA developed a program called Operation Condor to support right-wing dictatorships in Brazil, Argentina, Chile, throughout the continent. Jaime Roldos, president of Ecuador, democratically elected, and Omar Torrijos, head of state of Panama, strongly opposed Operation Condor. I was sent down to get them to change their ways. They wouldn't. They refused. Roldos was killed when his private plane crashed in what many believe was not an accident. Torrijos said, if CIA killed my friend Jaime, I'll probably be next. In less than 3 months, he died when his private plane crashed under very similar circumstances. You're going to hear after me, after the break, from a Marine Corps general who was in Panama at the time, and he agrees with me that these were probably, at least Torrijos was probably assassination. We don't really know who caused it. And I want to say that I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in some overarching conspiracy to take over the world. But I do read reports. I think I'm a conspiracy factualist. You know, I read just recently declassified information, the CIA's own website, where they admit that the US government was deeply involved in the overthrow or assassination of Prime Minister Mossadegh of Iran, President Allende of Chile, Arbenz of Guatemala, Diem of Vietnam, Lumumba of the Congo. And speaking of Allende of Chile, he was replaced by the terribly brutal dictator, General Pinochet, who was a great defender of Operation Condor and also oversaw the murder of tens of thousands of his people, and was praised by Secretary of State Henry Kissinger as a great defender of capitalism. I believe in national security, and I don't believe that U.S. security is served. I believe it's jeopardized when our agencies overthrow or assassinate the leaders of other countries because they don't follow our policies. I'm a capitalist. I think that capitalism has given us incredible technology, art, science, medicine. I think it holds out the hope for the future. But there's this new form of capitalism that I call predatory capitalism that's the enemy of true capitalism. Let me explain. When I was in business school, I was taught that a good CEO makes a decent rate of return for his company and also makes sure his company is a good citizen. He pays his workers a fair wage, gives them health insurance and retirement pensions, pays taxes, imagine that, and supports local school and recreational facilities and so on and so forth. And in essence, he makes sure that his company serves the public interest. That all changed in 1976 when Milton Friedman won the Nobel Prize in economics and stated, amongst many other things, the only responsibility of business is to maximize profits, regardless of the social and environmental costs. It changed everything. And it has created this global fiasco, what I believe we're headed toward this disaster. We're in it a lot now with the climate change, with all the things that we all know is happening, and we must change that. And we can change that. How? I think the American Revolution actually offers an interesting example. Back in 1773, most everybody in the United States believed that the British were invincible. But George Washington stepped forward, and he remembered 20 years earlier during the French and Indian War, he had witnessed at the Battle of the Monongahela the defeat of a huge, powerful British army by a handful of Indians. And Washington said, they're not invincible. All we got to do is hide behind trees. Change the rules. So I think that's where we're at today. Change the rules. I like the rules I learned in business school, that a good corporation, a good CEO should make sure that his corporation serves the public interest, is a good citizen. I like the idea that you and I should invest in corporations that, instead of essentially destroying the resources upon which our economy is based, instead of doing that, they clean up pollution, regenerate destroyed environments, develop new technologies for more efficient energy, transportation, communications, and just about everything else. In essence, let's get our corporations to create an economic system that is itself a renewable resource. Are you ready to do that? Yes, I think we're all ready. We can create this renewable resource so our corporations today really run the world. They control most of the politics in this country and just about everywhere else. But it's important to remember that they need us. We work for them, we manage them, many of you own them, you run them. They depend on us to buy their goods and services, to invest in them, to work for them, to support them through our tax dollars. We have the power. You have the power. Earlier, we heard this incredible music about our passion and our power. Let's put our passion to work. This brings us to you. What is it you can do, each and every one of you? What can we all do? Well, I think perhaps the most important thing to start off by saying is that we are living at a time in history when the individual, you, has more power than ever before. I travel a great deal around the world, speaking at events like this and many others. And everywhere I go, whether it's in Asia or Africa, South America, Europe, Middle East, United States, people are waking up to the fact that we live on a very tiny, fragile space station with no shuttles. And it's headed for disaster, and we got to turn it around. We can do it. So in my latest book, which is for sale out here, The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman, I have a whole section devoted to what you can do lists and ideas, but I want to just mention 3 of them here today, kind of in summary. So, remembering that we have this power today, especially with the internet. Number 1, search out and spread, shine a light on the story behind the story. I think my life as an economic hitman highlights the fact that there's almost always a story behind the story. And recently, revelations such as WikiLeaks and Edward Snowden papers and the Panama papers and reporting by amazing bloggers and others, the Pulitzer Prize-winning ProPublica, Common Dreams, many, many organizations out there are shining a light on the fact that we have corrupt politicians. We have tax-evading billionaires. You know, democracy depends upon transparency. It depends on understanding the story behind the story. It demands that you and I look for the story. It demands that we question our leaders and our government policies. That's the patriotic thing to do. So number 1, look for, spread the story behind the story. Number 2, use local, individual, and community power, your power, to change politics, to change the governmental system, to change the laws. We, the people, must do it. We can't wait for a president to do it, whoever the next president is. We have to do it, and that's our job in a democracy, to do that. Recently, the small state of Vermont, with less than 0.2% of the US population, a tiny group of people in that small state, got laws passed that forced corporations to label GMOs. As a result, 5 of the major food companies, ConAgra, General Mills, Kellogg's, Campbell Soup, Mars, all committed to labeling GMOs here in Michigan and everywhere else in the United States. And I just recently heard Hugh Grant, not the actor, but the CEO of Monsanto, on the radio saying that that's impacting him hugely. Monsanto's going to have to reevaluate its attitude to GMOs because of what happened in the state of Vermont. We, the people, have forced the corporations to end apartheid in South Africa, to clean up polluted rivers, pass laws to make that happen, to open their doors wider to women and minorities. We have the power, the movement to amend now, to get big money out of politics. That's very important. So, number 2, join an organization or start one that impacts local laws, national laws, global laws. Do it. Get involved, please. This is something important that we all can do. And number 3, help a corporation understand that it must serve a public interest. Corporations listen to you. CEOs, I know lots of CEOs of very powerful corporations. They know if they're getting flooded by emails, tweets, or Facebook, whatever. They know, and they have to respond. So I suggest to you, pick a corporation, any corporation that appeals to you. Send them an email. Don't make them the enemy. Say, I love you, I love your product, but I'm not going to buy it anymore until you stop polluting or clean up pollution or pay your workers a fair wage or whatever your issue is. Send that email to the corporation and to all your social networking circles and ask them to send it to all their social networking circles. Get involved. So, shine a light, change the laws, and convince corporations to serve a public interest. And in that way, we're going to turn this economic system that is failing us, one that's exhausted, one that's devastating its own resource base, into a renewable resource. I think you and I live at the most amazing, important time in human history. We are going through a revolution, a consciousness revolution. People are waking up across the planet. Together, we're going to come together and we're going to create a world that my 8-year-old grandson and every other child of every sentient being on this planet is going to look back at and say, hey, thank God for TEDx in Michigan. Thank God all those people came together and committed to moving forward to creating an economic system that's a renewable resource. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to taking this journey with you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Um, okay, but this is the guy that calls himself an economic hitman. You know, he's gone to nations and corrupt presidents by bribing them. You know, so the corporations, and then he's got a whole different videos. I saw about 3 different videos from him being interviewed. Um, and he talks that this nation is not really is run by a corporate what was it called? Corporation, corporate, they call it corporatocracy, something about that, something government or corporations. That's what he's trying to say. And the government and the army and all of those people are really led by them. You know, so this guy that was there with the CIA and all of that, we worked with all of them. He was trained by them and all that, so he did that for years. But, you know, I know that to go to do something in TED, you know, they have to have certain bias because they prepare everything according to our agenda. That's why I had to mention something that appears to be like climate change and all that like that, because they propose that agenda now about paying taxes, because it's all this stuff that they want you to follow. But all this economy, you know, the solution is that we the people have the solution, right? No, the thing is we have to come in agreement with the original economy. And the thing is, these people talk a lot of stuff about something that we need to do. But the fact is, show me what being in their economy that is correct, show me what that has done for your life and for your mindset, like the way I'm explaining it to you. I'm sharing you my experiences of my life and how the creator of the original economy is alive and he's been taking care of me. And he's giving me the mindset to be able to deal with any circumstance that come my way. And he has not put in me the desires and ambitions that this world happens to have within them, you know. But he has put in me his desires and his ambitions so that I don't crave the things that this world tell me that I need to have, because that to me they're not really necessary at all. They are a burden if I take them upon myself. Okay? But that's what you need to examine, you know, what's their standard. Now the standard for the economy at some point it used to be gold. Then for now it seems to have become what I call the black gold or oil. You know, oil. That's basically why this economy goes to all these countries, especially countries that have oil. They go to try to get them so that they can do something with the oil that they have there, because that has become, since the gold is not the standard for the economy, oil and having access to it has become the standard. And that's why people cannot, economies cannot really change quick to solar or other sources of energy, because that has become the standard. So the standard needs to change. And that's something that I want to be talking about in the next video, hopefully tomorrow, if I have the chance. But I want to be talking about the original standard, you know, that the Bible recommends for the original economy. And that's my standard, you know. But I will express to you what that is. That's all for today. You know, that's what we're going to share. And I hope that you mothers, you know, are encouraged by what is being done. And that you will write in there, you know, below this post, I'm in. So I can get to write your name down, you know, put it in the box for May 10. All right. Have a good day. And may the Maker bless you always.